Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Heroes Show. You got Cory and Nick with you, and we just both sat through 4 hours of DC Fandome. We are excited to talk about some of the stuff that came out. We're going to talk about, obviously, the trailer for The Batman, which arrives in March of 2022. We got some first looks at Black Adam, The Flash, Shazam, Aquaman 2, Peacemaker, some video games, some TV show announcements, and more. We're going to try our best to tackle all of it. Nick, how are you feeling? I saw before this you had to dive into your Zoa energy drink, courtesy of Black Adam himself, to get through the day.
Mahalo, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to stay awake after watching all that content, and then so we could record content of our own.
It's a lot.
And put some news out there for our viewers. And so yeah, it's a lot.
Boy, what a shot of adrenaline that Batman trailer was at the end.
Yeah, that definitely woke me back up. I'm like, I need a Zoa now. I need to wake up.
My thoughts on the Batman trailer are as follows, and I'm going to turn away from my microphone. Let's fucking go! That's how I feel about the Batman trailer. That was so exciting. If you're not sold on that movie by now,
yeah, dude,
I can't help you.
out of every trailer we got, that is the only one that I legit smiled for, like as like just being excited. Yep. And I got chills, man. Like, and it's not every time I watch a trailer and I get chills from just saying, holy shit, that was amazing. Yes. Like, I love the color scheme in that movie. Mm-hmm. I love just the darkness of it with the blacks, the grays, the orange and yellow and red hues, man. Yep. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be so beautiful.
It's almost like the director had a visual style in mind before the film was made.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah,
it is dark, is dreary. It seems very Batman, very noir-esque, which is pretty cool. Rumors are suggesting that it's around 3 hours currently.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, for real, right?
I hope so, man. It needs to be a longer movie. It can't be like this 2 hours and 5 minutes crap. Like, nah, nope.
Yeah, I feel like this one, it warrants having the longer runtime. But this trailer gave us some first looks at some folks that we hadn't really seen much of. We got to see Andy Serkis as Alfred.
Yep.
Which was pretty cool. He's got a nice, well-kept old man look going on.
Scar too, you know.
And he had a little scar over his eye. Yeah. Yep. So interesting to see if they delve into his past a little bit, or if he's just the butler / right-hand man to Bruce in this one. He seems a little bit concerned for Bruce in this trailer. What was the line from the trailer that you had told me?
He says,
if this continues, it won't be long process before you've got nothing left.
Yes.
He didn't say it quite like Spiegel, but yeah, if this continues, it won't be long before you've got nothing left.
Yeah.
And, and it's funny because right before that, Miss Kravitz says, I can take care of myself, and I just thought an interesting like trailer cut with contrast. Because obviously those scenes aren't going to be, back to back or near each other. But just the contrast of it, and it's kind of paints a little bit of an interesting picture between what's at stake here and what a young Bruce Wayne and Batman is literally putting on the table to stop the Riddler
and the Penguin
yeah, so both, and it goes back to that one scene in the trailer as well when he punches the glass and says, "What have you done?"
Yep.
So if he's risking it all, right, and he's putting everything he possibly can on the table to exact vengeance here, what is he going to have left? So especially at a young age.
Yeah, and when he punches the glass and says that line, that was the first time that I looked and I was like, he really does look like a very young Batman.
He does. I think it's very fitting to do this. And he has a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. It's still very much in line with what he could become or could look like over the years of being older, right? To some of the other Batmans. I thought it was actually pretty interesting when they were talking in the panel, though, before they showed the trailer, that he tried on Robert Pattinson tried on Val Kilmer's suit
for his screen test. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Which
That's
to me
actually
it's
kind of
weird.
cool, but
They just
it's
have
weird.
those like lying around somewhere. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, we need a Batman suit. Get Kilmer's and bring it over here. Like,
Yeah,
what?
of all of them, they chose Kilmer. So
Well, at least it wasn't Clooney's with the nipples.
yeah, no, that one they probably burned that one.
Oh man, they
Or
probably
melted it
did.
down. I don't know. How do you, whatever that suit's made out of, but
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because they don't really allude to it a terrible ton in the trailer, but when you have the director and then the guy that plays Batman doing the panel, and then the other person is Catwoman,
right.
kind of makes you think they're the two leads of the film. Like the
Yes.
first trailer kind of made it seem like Catwoman might be like maybe a side story or like a secondary character, but I think as we get closer to this movie coming out, I think she's going to be super pivotal to the entire thing,
Agreed.
which is great. And from the sounds of things, they have great chemistry.
Yeah. It looks
I
like they
don't
do.
believe everything that the internet says, but there were rumors that there was an off-screen romance between the two of them during this. Who knows whether or not that's true?
Yeah,
But
good
if
for them.
so,
I
I
mean,
mean, yeah,
whatever.
I mean, if the chemistry is good off-screen, that means the chemistry is probably good on-screen too, which is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, whatever helps the movie, right?
We finally got like like kind of a glimpse of Paul Dano's face as the Riddler
Yes.
as he's getting
Yes.
arrested at the beginning of the trailer. It's a big plot point that he gets arrested.
Yep.
The camera pans up in a super cool way to the coffee cup with the question mark in the foam, which I thought was really neat. And then he's in jail. Obviously, there's an interrogation scene. He says to the Batman, "I've been trying to reach you," which was like extremely creepy, and it kind of
Yeah.
reminded me of Paul Dano's role in Prisoners,
Right.
with just that really just like creepy, squirmy kind of voice, which is pretty awesome. And then he got the line of the trailer too when he says, "What's black and blue and dead all over you?"
Yeah.
And that bone chilling shit, man.
Yeah,
Really excited.
I hope we get some cool riddles. Not I wouldn't imagine we get a lot, but just I don't know. It kind of just adds to the creepiness, right? If it's
Yeah.
notes, if it's actual lines that he says. But yeah, I like that we at least got one in the trailer.
And it was a impending doom type riddle.
Yes.
That's some pretty dire shit right there, which is
Yes.
very cool. I've heard some rumors online that the take on the Riddler is kind of similar to like the Jigsaw Killer from Saw,
Okay.
where it's like he has victims and it's like a if you can figure out my riddles, you'll live. If you can't, you'll die type thing. Which I think would be a fun little take on it. We'll see if that actually turns out to be true, but very excited to see where that character goes. I think he's going to absolutely crush it.
Yeah.
We got a little bit more of. I can't even believe it's Colin Farrell behind all of those prosthetics, but it is Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yeah, it looks like a different person.
Yeah, he's got like a little bit of a 1920s New York swagger going on, the way that he says "sweet hat" and everything, which is fun. And then that chase scene with the Batmobile where he thinks he got him.
I got
and
him.
Then,
And just rams them. Oof.
Has that Batmobile grown on you since you first saw it?
It has. Actually, seeing it more in action, I've come to like it a lot more because I think it definitely adds to the grit that this Batman has or is portraying, with just being this. I don't want to say that obviously like a muscle car, but
well, it is though, kind of. Right?
But it is, yeah. Because obviously Robert Pattinson isn't the biggest guy, and he doesn't look big in this suit either. But he looks mean, and I think that's just maybe the object of it, where it's not so futuristic looking or very long and narrow. But much like the Tumbler, right? With Christian Bale's Batman, it was big, rugged, impenetrable for the most part, and this is just a little bit of a different take. So I like it. I think it'll be pretty cool, and I hope it grows on more people.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's awesome. I kind of liked it when it first got shown, and now seeing it in action is like, okay,
Yeah, seeing it in action
I'm
is much different.
fully in. Speaking of impenetrable, his armor, he gets shot at a handful of times in this trailer. And in the one, it
Does
kind
he
of looks
ever?
like a hallway scene where it's
God,
pitch
that scene
black and
is
all the
amazing.
light is just from the gunshots, and he's taking shots right to the chest and then mows those dudes down. Whew,
Yeah,
boy,
that scene, that I think those are
oh,
the scenes that made me smile. I was like,
yeah,
oh man, because just yeah, the lighting and just I think the effects with the sound behind it made it really great.
yeah, it's
Um,
art. Like
it
that is
is.
artful shit. It's
Yeah.
not. It's very easy
Cinematography
to
just
put up a bunch of key lights and light stuff well and just kind of shoot it straight or whatever. But like to do something like that where there's no music, your light is from your effects and it really good stuff. It almost felt John Wick esque
yeah.
for a few seconds there, and I love the choreography from John Wick. So
Yeah. The last thing I'd say is, and I paused it when when I, rewatched the trailer, because it kind of goes in line with the Riddler, and he says, Batman's or Bruce is looking down at things he's got mapped out, and one direction, or there's like 4 different directions. One is sins of my father, normalizing Coulson, Mitchell, and then renewal is a lie.
hmm,
And I'm very curious to see what all those mean. But again, I think that kind of depicts what sort of character the Riddler is going to be in this movie,
yep,
because he's throwing Batman in different directions, and I think
yeah,
that might be something where, again, kind of with the Andy Serkis line, he's he's throwing so much on the table because he's going in different directions. Maybe again, this is just a hypothetical guess here, but in the event where he just doesn't know where to go and he's doing everything he can, but he's just sort of going a little, not a little crazy, but just going a little, maybe mad,
yeah,
because he's trying to figure out these riddles, and it's just costing a lot from his life, in order to kind of keep up with it all. We kind
yep.
of see him with the scars and some bruises on his back,
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's starting to go through that bat fleck, um, uh, you know, trauma that
The stuff
he
that
had.
turns him old and angry, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah, but,
Yeah, so I think you're onto something with the looking down at the stuff on the ground, the sins of my father part. If you remember the original trailer, the Riddler says, "You're part of all this," and then
right.
Batman says, "How am I part of all this?" And he says, "I'll show you." I think they're gonna do something in this movie, whether it's a Court of Owls thing or something where Thomas and Martha Wayne were not the squeaky clean business people that the Batman canon has kind of framed them to be in the past. I think that they're
Right.
going to have some deep dark secrets, and Bruce is going to find out about them, and it's going to make him even more angry and more the reason why you see him the way that he is in this. But
Right.
man, what a cast, what a
Yeah.
look. They clearly have an idea as to what they want to pull off with this, and I absolutely can't wait. That's like 5 months from now, and then that
Yeah.
comes out, and 2 weeks later, Doctor Strange 2 hits. So March is a big month for
The
us nerd
competition,
folks.
man. Whew.
Yeah, for real.
It's gonna be good.
We're 13 minutes in though, and we've only talked about one thing. So the rest of DC fandom actually did happen, believe it or not.
Yeah.
They opened up with Black Adam, which I thought was awesome.
Yes. Yes,
The
indeed.
Rock is fucking shredded for
Yeah,
this
he's
movie.
monstrous.
And we were lucky enough to get a little bit of like behind the scenes type stuff. They showed some uniforms for like Cyclone and Hawkman and Atom
Right.
Smasher, Doctor Fate's helmet, which was all cool. But the real star of the show was they showed one of the opening scenes of the film,
Yeah.
which was really more or less just a Mortal Kombat fatality.
Yeah. The match starts and he automatically finish him. Like,
Man, he grabs that dude by the throat, electrocutes him, turns him to dust. His skull lands on the ground.
yeah.
Black Adam is not to be meddled with. I think is the idea they're trying to get across. And The Rock tweeted shortly thereafter. That was literally the first scene they shot
Yeah.
in the movie, like when they went into production. So imagine him going through like probably like 10 or 12 weeks worth of intense physical training to get to
Yep.
be in that shape. And then day one on set, they're like, yeah, we're gonna do the thing where you kill a guy by grabbing him by the throat and disintegrating him.
They're like, "Oh, this training was worth it. Cool."
Yep. And then he gets fired at a handful of times, and he catches a speeding bullet, which is
Yep.
very interesting because,
Yeah.
uh,
Superman can do
yeah,
that.
you'd imagine that Black Adam has to fight Superman, whoever is playing the character at some point,
Right.
right? So,
I'd like it. I
whew,
mean, obviously, I Cavill's my guy, but plus, I think it would be really awesome to see both of them do some intense workouts, and
yeah,
because Henry obviously lifts. He's sponsored by Muscle Tech. I mean, he's pretty much in shape most of the time anyway, as
sure,
well.
yeah.
So I
Sure, he
think it
came
would
off The Witcher, which he had to bulk up for and everything,
right.
right?
I think it'd be kind of cool. Again, I think a lot of people would appreciate it. It's like, oh, they're both just like sort of like their uniforms are just sort of shredded or ripped apart, and it's just like, all right, two dudes just chest out,
Yep.
it's just fighting, and just literally just obliterating everything around them. So,
Yep. And word on the street is that The Rock doesn't have any padding in his suit
I
for
believe
Black
it.
Adam,
He
and apparently
doesn't
that's
need
the
it.
first time that's ever happened, according to him, which is pretty insane. He's a scary looking 50-year-old man. That is,
Yeah.
I'm almost 35, and I look nothing like that. So for him to do that at 50 is pretty outrageous, pretty amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And that comes out in July.
July
So
29th. Yeah.
we are not far away from Black Adam hitting theaters. We also got a tease for Ezra Miller's Flash movie. Ezra Miller tried to cosplay as, I think you said, like a really strange John Lennon.
Yeah. I was like, is he like a new aged hip John Lennon?
I don't know, man. But I don't know if you keep up with like what happens outside of the movies. But there was like a viral video once of Ezra Miller like choking someone on the streets.
Oh yeah, in a store or whatever it was. Yeah.
And then he wore a choker.
Yes.
Around his neck for this thing, and everybody was like, maybe not the greatest wardrobe choice.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I was like, what is with that choker he's wearing? Like chest hair all out and like a jean jacket. I'm like,
yeah,
it's an interesting fashion choice.
He said they didn't have a trailer or anything like that, but then they showed stuff. So
yeah,
the stuff they showed I thought was pretty cool. I thought the new suit he's got that kind of lights up was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
It's obviously going to be somewhat derived from the Flashpoint comic because it looks like he's going back in time to save his mom, Nora Allen, which is pretty neat. But honestly, the real thing that everybody cares about in this movie is the fact that Michael fucking Keaton is back as Batman. So he narrated the trailer. They roll up to Wayne Manor. They do the tease where they almost pull the cover off the 89 Batmobile. You see the back of his head. Where are your hype levels at? Are you an 89 Batman guy, or is that like kind of lower on the Batman list for you?
No, yeah. I mean, I'm Keaton is definitely one of my favorite Batmans. I mean, it's hard to kind of throw up who's the best at this point, but I have some friends that abide by Keaton's Batman, and yeah, I mean it was something I watched growing up, and again with the all the other Batmans too, and thinking all the way through Kilmer and Clooney that Keaton was the best out of the bunch. And of course, again with Jack Nicholson playing the Joker, I mean, just one of the two people that sort of set the bar for those characters. And again, I like how some of the things that Keaton said, like where the Flashpoint and like multiverse like kind of confuses him, and it's like, listen, Keaton, just read your lines,
show up, read your
do
lines.
the character, the suit still fits.
Yeah.
And which is crazy, right? I mean,
it is crazy.
89, you've got 99, 09, 19, 30, like 32 years later, and it still fits,
That's crazy that movie's that old just to begin with. And now he's back, and he's going to be Batman again. I thought it was funny. No Ben Affleck in that tease.
Very interesting.
We know that Ben Affleck is in that movie because Ben Affleck has come out and said that he's in that movie and that he had a really great time shooting for it.
Yeah.
But I feel like Warner Brothers is trying their hardest to pivot away from that particular Batman and Superman because they really didn't mention them much at all. Interesting, but we'll see what happens with his character as it shows up. One other thing I thought was interesting, there's the one shot where Flash is in the center and Supergirl is behind him. There's another Flash.
There's another Ezra Miller.
What the hell's going on there?
Well, I mean, it would make sense for the multiverse, right? And I think that's kind of the same thing with there's two Batmans, and you'd probably have two Flashes. So, you know, I wonder if, again, which of those two Flashes would be the same as Keaton's Batman, as in, you know, Ben Affleck's Batman. So I also wonder if Ben Affleck's Batman will recognize one of the two.
Yeah.
Barry Allen. So that'll be interesting. Again, I hate that they're just trying to move away from Ben Affleck. It's sort of the same thing where I get it, you want to open up other things, but it's kind of like the same thing with what Marvel is doing, right? Which, and we can probably do a whole different video on that. Not to divulge too much from the topic at hand, but I think, again, when you have actors that enjoy playing the characters, why deprive them and the fans of doing it? Because it's sort of like, I mean, you know, there are actors out there like, I'm done with this movie and role, and I want to do other things. At that point, I feel like, you know what, we're gonna branch out. We're gonna fill this role with a different actor and create a whole new story or different story. And again, because of the Flashpoint, you can do that. So I'm curious, because obviously, you know, we never got the whole story with Snyder.
No, we did not. I don't think we're going to either. I know that there are folks that are holding on to that thread for dear life, but I really, I really think that Warner Brothers is moving away from that, which is kind of interesting because the Flash in this movie is the same actor that played the Flash in the Snyder movies. We'll get to it in a minute, but there's a second Aquaman coming out with the same Aquaman and Batfleck. So. Yeah, and Affleck is in there as Batman too. So it'll be interesting. The one thing I'm curious about, we don't really know anything about a villain for this Flash movie. I would have to guess it would be a Reverse Flash, just because they haven't done that yet on big screen, and it's a dope villain. So
yes, it is.
We'll see what happens, but that's coming out, I believe, November 4th of 2022. Which is cool. So you got Batman in March, Black Adam in July, The Flash in November, and then rounding out 2022 for DC is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. They are obviously very early on in production. I think the behind the scenes thing they showed, Jason Momoa's first day wasn't until like the end of July.
July.
They don't really have much to show from it, but a lot of behind the scenes type stuff with them filming. It looks like the sets are massive again. Which is cool. I don't know about you. I thought the first Aquaman was pretty good.
I think so.
It was fun, if anything, and it was huge and bombastic. And they claim to be ratcheting all of that up for this one. So, what are your thoughts on Aquaman 2?
I'm looking forward to it. Right, I enjoyed the first one. We have a buddy that thought it was terrible. Which was also hilarious because of his reaction to it. But I think some of the behind the scenes things and some of the shots, with like Black Manta's suit looks dope. So, and again, because they're rounding out things that happened from the first movie, I think that's great for the story and characters as they just get fleshed out more. And I'm kind of curious to see what they'll do after the fact. Again, I know Momoa loves that role, and again, speaking on what I just said, when you've got actors that love the characters they play, it usually means and leans towards this movie or this role that's going to be good at the very least. So again, James Wan's doing it, right? So
he is.
Again, you've got people that come back to do movies and help out again. It just, I think it should be good, and I hope it's better than the first one. That would be my expectation. So
I think it'll be better than the first one, if not for just more spectacle, which will be nice. They did mention in there, one of the producers was doing like a talking head interview type thing, and he said that Aquaman is the biggest DC movie ever, which is true. That movie grossed over $1 billion when it came out. So I think that they probably expect to make a ton of money off of it.
Probably, yeah.
And I would guess that a third one would probably happen. And then if they do, a new version of a Justice League or something like that, I'm sure that Momoa would come back for it. Pretty much in a heartbeat. So so that's December of 2022. So just like Marvel, I think Marvel's got 5 movies in 2022. DC's got 4. We're eating good, friends. It's gonna be fun. There's
bumping heads.
A lot of competition. It's gonna be exciting for sure. I think so. Let's break it down. So March is Batman versus Doctor Strange. May is Thor, but there's nothing going up against Thor DC wise.
Right.
July should be Black Adam versus Black Panther.
Right.
Which Black Panther 2 has a lot of pressure on it.
It does.
The outside of the movie world circumstances.
Right.
November will be The Flash against the Marvels.
Right.
Which will be interesting. And then I think December, there is nothing from Marvel in December. So it should be Aquaman. I think Avatar 2 comes out that December. So it'll be competing with Avatar.
12 years later.
It's still the highest,
we'll see how high it
grossing film of all time. So we'll definitely see on that. But 2022 is stacked. There's a lot of stuff going on.
It's going to be lit.
Which is pretty awesome. So the last theatrical thing that they really showed any footage from was Shazam Fury of the Gods, which is a sequel to that movie. Looks fun. It looks like it has a bigger budget than it had before. Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu looked awesome as the 2 villains.
They did.
Not a whole heck of a lot about the story on that, but it looks like they all got suit upgrades. It looks like the film has a little more money than the first go around. So
action,
that should be fun.
All that stuff.
And that's going to hit in 2023. They also showed some concept art and did some panel stuff for Batgirl and Blue Beetle, which to my knowledge are both films that are going to be going straight to HBO Max.
Right.
However, the concept art looked cool. Blue Beetle's suit looked dope. I'm super into that. And it's the kid from Cobra Kai who's playing Jaime Reyes, which is gonna be fun. So
that'll be cool.
So stay tuned for all of that. TV wise, we got some renewal stuff. Doom Patrol and Titans both got renewed for 4th seasons. They showed a preview, I think, of season 3 of Harley Quinn, which is apparently great. I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list.
I haven't either. Same.
But that looked all like a good deal of fun. And they did a big panel for Peacemaker, which is the Suicide Squad spinoff, premiering January 13th on HBO Max. This is an 8-episode series or season. 5 of those episodes were directed by James Gunn himself. He wrote all 8 of them. We got a great little teaser and a fun panel. What were your thoughts on that? Are you more hyped now for that after seeing all that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the hype level from the panel really got my interests a little higher. Some of the things that James Gunn himself said, which was I can't believe Warner Brothers is letting me shoot this.
He said this might be Warner Brothers' funeral.
Yeah. And I'm like, people might want that to happen. Let's just be real here.
Oh, man.
And but I also think at the same time, they might look at it and go, oh my God, I can't believe he did this. At the same time, they're going to look at people online and be like, good. Yes. Sure. And again, I think with the fun that it looked like they had on set, just the hystericalness, I think is going to add to the show itself, the characters, and there's a couple other characters that I just didn't know that were going to be in the series, which they've now sort of they've revealed. I can't think of his name offhand, but the vigilante who had a British accent, because Cena's like, I didn't know he had a British accent until just now. Like,
his name is Vigilante. That's the character's name.
Yeah.
And apparently they had somebody in mind to play that character that dropped at the very last minute, and then they brought this other guy in very late in filming and did all of his scenes, and they apparently said that he was great. So
it looked like it. Yeah,
I think it's really interesting that they brought in Danielle Brooks, who I think she was on Orange is the New Black, I think is where most people are going to know her from. But to kind of be like the emotional bridge and connection to the Peacemaker character, which will be a lot of fun for them to explore. James Gunn, he writes characters fantastically, and he does a really good job of doing story arcs. And I'm really excited to see what an 8-hour story from James Gunn looks like, as opposed to like a 2.5-hour story.
Right.
So should be a lot of fun. It looks like they had a blast making it.
Yep.
They all curse a lot. I think they asked John Cena what was the hardest thing about becoming Peacemaker, and he was like, becoming a high octane asshole, because I'm normally just a regular asshole.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
It looks like a lot of fun. It's going to be on HBO Max, and I think, tell me if I'm wrong on this, but like when you watch the trailer for that, and then later on in the event they show footage from like the TV Flash or Legends of Tomorrow or Batwoman or whatever, they don't even look like they're in the same league, right? Like Peacemaker looks like a movie, and the CW stuff just kind of looks like a low budget TV show.
Yeah, it's really interesting, the comparison and just the contrast that DC has with their shows, whereas with the CW stuff, which is really what started it off for them, and you and I have watched some CW shows, and but the issue, the issue with those shows is, I think as they go on, they don't carry their strength with them.
Right.
And as someone who's watched The Flash on CW for a while now, that show just sort of, it dropped off after like season 3. I still kept watching it because I'm like, well, I'm already in it at this point. Why not just keep watching? Maybe it'll get better at the end. But I stopped watching like Green Arrow after season 1. Like Black Lightning after season 1. I haven't watched Superman and Lois yet. I've heard good things about that, but again, they're just getting their second season, so will it follow that same pattern of like, it starts off great and as it goes along, it just kind of just starts to decline? And I haven't watched any Supergirl or was it Batwoman? Again, there's just so much out there that I don't have time for, unfortunately. So it's like we're picking and choosing our things to watch.
Well, one of the tricky things with the CW shows is, I mean, I don't know if they're still like this or not, because I haven't watched them in a very long time, but when I was watching Arrow and the Flash, they were 22 episodes a season.
Yeah, long seasons with a lot of filler, and
I have no need for that in my life right now.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say it. Peacemaker's 8 episodes. Loki was 6. Like, give me that with a tight story, with a better budget, because you're guessing, right? Say they give you $100 million.
Right.
And you decide to spend that $100 million over 8 episodes, or stretch that $100 million to 22 episodes. Something's got to give at some point. The quality is going to suffer in terms of production value when you're doing stuff like that. I don't care if it's on network TV and it's got however much money from the ad revenue or whatever that's coming in. Peacemaker looks like a better show, not just actor wise and story wise, but visually, than any of those shows at the current moment.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it, right? You've got the network television aspect compared to the streaming service, which sure, they're both an hour long, but not really, because you count commercials and all that stuff in the CW. But yeah, just the overall production value within it. And again, John Cena's the star of the show because it's his show. And again, I think some of these actors that have been on obviously multiple seasons with the CW shows, they're well known within the DC universe and whatnot. But a lot of people obviously know who John Cena is outside of this. But it again, and we kind of texted about it, where you look at what the shows that Marvel has on Disney Plus, and I mean, there's not one CW show from DC that can touch a Marvel show at this point. And DC's closest thing to really throw at it is Peacemaker. And again, it kind of goes with that eight episodic like idea.
It's almost a mini series instead of a season of television, right?
Where you've got Marvel that's got like 9 with WandaVision, or 6 with Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, and the other shows that are coming out soon too. So I'm kind of curious to see what they'll do with the future for DC shows like that.
Yeah, I think the stuff that's going to HBO Max is going to be good. If the Gotham PD thing is happening, there were some rumblings about a spinoff for Colin Farrell's Penguin. I think those will all look and feel very much in the vein of the movies that inspired them. Whereas a lot of these CW shows, they don't have a feature that they come from. Like
Right.
Arrow was Arrow, Flash was Flash, and they started here and they've just kind of done this ever since.
Yeah.
No tie-in. I don't want to say no direction, but like when you get to 7 or 8 seasons of 20 episodes a year, how much more
It's a lot.
story can you tell? It
And
just
that's where
seems
the
like
filler
it's
comes in, right? Like,
exactly, yeah.
and filler always sort of bogs things down, as we know. And uh I think also within the HBO and DC universe, shows like Titans and Doom Patrol, uh that are each on their third season right now.
Mhm.
uh Titans this season has been better. We obviously got news that there's a fourth season for both.
Yep,
Granted, yeah, the production value seems better than the CW shows,
it
but they're
does. Yeah.
also shorter seasons, right?
Mhm.
So less room for filler, more story points and character development. And I think there are, say, more notable, you know, characters in the show, but you're getting a team atmosphere with the Titans. You're getting a team atmosphere with Doom Patrol, and yeah, I think Doom Patrol is probably one of the best shows right now that DC has, because of just the what gets put into it. It looks
Yep.
good. It's hilarious. It's weird,
Yeah, if
and
you
all
haven't
that.
checked out Nick's videos, he's reviewing every episode of
I am.
season 3 of Doom
It's
Patrol, and he's been having a blast doing it. So
Yeah, it's been a it's dude, I've loved Doom Patrol this season. It's definitely been the best season of that show as well. I think it's better than Titans. And yeah, like I think
I hope so because Titans has kind of lost me.
well, then they
This
showed the finale, and I'm like, I've been watching the entire show so far, and
right.
you're spoiling it for me. And so I literally had to mute it and minimize the windows and
Hmm.
do something else because I'm like, I don't want to
Weird.
ruin it for myself. And people who haven't
Sure.
watched it are like, here's the finale. Great, this happens.
Right.
Awesome. Don't need to watch it now.
Right. I don't need to watch episodes whatever 1 through 12 because I know what's
Yeah,
going to happen in
exactly.
13. But
Kind of disappointed they did that.
yeah, well,
It
we
is
did
what
some
it
weird
is.
stuff in this, but
It is.
let's wrap this up with video games. We both enjoy video games. You a
Yes.
little bit more than I, but when it comes to a superhero one, you bet your ass I'll play them. We got new trailers for Gotham Knights and for Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League.
Yep.
Sadly, we did not get release dates for either of them.
Nope.
Really, just
Just
want
a
to
year,
know
which was
when I can play these
obvious.
games. Which one do you think look better?
I think Gotham Knights visually looked better.
Okay.
Uh, I, but fun wise, the Suicide Squad might be a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
And I know even last year at DC Fandom they were talking about how, um, that, obviously co-op was going to be a thing,
Right.
and I think with something like Suicide Squad having 4 people on co-op, where I think Gotham Knights was only 2-person co-op.
Okay.
um it sort of mixes up the playability of what
Right.
you can do and go through the story. I don't know, maybe Suicide Squad is only two players as well with co-op, but um I think it'll be pretty fun to play as a Suicide Squad member. I don't know who I would play as. I'm kind of thinking like King
King
Shark
Shark, man.
probably,
That's
like,
it.
you know
That's the
um
move.
yeah, and you're going up against DC's finest heroes. So
Yeah, Green Lantern was in the trailer, which I thought
yeah,
was very cool. We got Flash, Superman.
yeah,
It will be
Aquaman,
interesting.
everything. Yeah,
You have to take into account that the Suicide Squad game is developed by Rocksteady Studios,
yes,
which they did the Arkham games, which are some of my favorite video games of all time. So I'm hoping that it's a similar esque game engine for that. But it looks like fun. Gotham Knights looks great though too, man. It's a really cool idea for a story. Bruce Wayne dying,
yes,
the Robins of sorts taking over, Court of Owls being a big part of it, and they did a whole little featurette on building the Court of Owls in the game, which the detail on that looked spectacular. It was really really cool. So
yeah.
exciting stuff, man.
That story is going to be, I think, what I mean, obviously, really interested me as well, because Court of Owls is definitely one of the like coolest storylines, um, within DC. I think, especially within Batman too. So
Yeah, we haven't really seen
um,
it yet. right?
Right. So yeah, I know there was I forget what anime movie that DC did. God, I'm having a brain fight right now, but I believe it's also on HBO Max. As I think everything on Batman wise is on HBO Max now.
Yep.
So, but that particular short animated movie was cool because it talked about the Court of Owls. But I think playing into it will be also really fun. I just looked on Steam for Gotham Knights, and I don't see a release date on there either.
Okay.
So yeah, we know they're both coming out sometime next year, but
Yeah. If I had to guess, Gotham Knights will come out first because I think that was supposed to come out this year,
it
but it got
was.
delayed because of the pandemic. So I would
Yep.
guess that Gotham Knights comes out in the first half of 2022, and
Yeah.
then the Suicide Squad game is in the second half
Second
of the
half.
year to bank on the holiday sales or whatever. But
Give me like a March, August release
yeah,
date, like
yep,
first quarter to third quarter would be fun. Gives enough time to space out things and
sure.
not take the spotlight from each other.
But there's some healthy competition there too because Marvel's got Spider-Man 2 coming out at some point
Yep.
with Spider-Man and Miles Morales taking on Venom.
Yep.
There is a Wolverine game being developed by Insomniac Studios, which I'm sure you're very excited about, being the
Yeah.
Wolverine super
I might
fan
buy
that
a
you are,
PlayStation 5 just for that one game.
just to play that game. So
Yep.
some cool stuff though, between
Yes.
movies, they're button heads, TV shows, they're coming at each other, video games, there's something for everyone. So
Yep.
there's a whole lot. So I guess to summarize things, this fandom was much shorter than last year's, which I do appreciate. Last year's was like over 2 days that were broken up by like a month or
Yeah.
so, and it felt like a
Yeah.
marathon. This was just 4 hours. It was get in, show your trailer, get out. We got some really cool stuff for some of the movies that are coming down the road. The Batman trailer whooped my ass and made me very excited. So I think it was a job well done,
Yep.
and they got some hype rolling for some new projects. How about you?
Yeah, no, I think this was a successful showing with the content coming from DC, especially because we got dates, which is always important because it gives
Mhm.
us a better idea of what's to come and when, and again, we can make those comparisons to their counterpart rival of within Marvel,
Yep.
and just something that we can look forward to for the next year, and um, whether it's a game, a show to watch at home, or a movie to go out and see.
Yep.
It's fun because the more movies, the better, and it's more stuff for us to talk about and
Absolutely, man.
review and to nerd out on. So
Yeah, for sure. On the competition side, it's the whole a rising tide raises all boats
yep,
situation where it forces everybody to be better and be on top of their game, and that is really exciting. And you can bet that we are going to cover every single one of those movies and TV shows and video games as they come out. So that's going to do it for this video and wrap up our coverage of 2021 DC Fandom. Love to hear from you guys. Did you sit through the entire 4 hours? Did you just find the trailers on social media? What were your thoughts on the Batman? Are you sold on Robert Pattinson taking the cowl and becoming Bruce Wayne and dethroning everyone else who has come before him? Drop us a comment below. Let us know. We will respond to everyone that comes through. If you want to support the channel, all you have to do is like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. We are marching towards our goal of 1,000 subscribers, but we need your help to do so. So please go ahead and subscribe. You got plenty of videos like this, movie reviews, TV reviews, Blu-ray reviews, all sorts of good stuff. We are on social media. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Real Heroes Show. We've got some additional stuff coming down the pike. I think, Nick, you have a review of the season finale of C coming up this week. We've got a Foundation review coming. There are some 4K reviews that I've got in the can. I think Green Knight and Glorious Bastards. And I think I have one more that I need to make, but there's a few of those coming on the pike. So we got a ton of stuff coming, all the movies in the world that are releasing between now and the end of the year. So please stay tuned to all of that and so much more. Until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.
peace.